All right, welcome back to Good Morning, Anambra. This time, we're going to look at keeping Anambra communities clean. Some other time, we were here and we were talking about keeping Anambra clean. But you know that it is quite impossible to keep Anambra clean without talking about communities at the grassroots level. And that is why this morning we want to focus more on what efforts, the engagement the people at the community level will do to ensure that the general image or the complete picture, the big picture is achieved. And we have here with us Professor Obiajulo Obikeze, President General, Awa Development Union. He's also a professor at Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu University, Bariam. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Anambra.
We also have Chief Boni Nkwaku, President General, Enugu Development Union. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much. Welcome, Anambra. I'm not a chief, I'm a comrade. So that nobody will accuse me of taking a title that does not belong to me.
Title on television. Okay, welcome.
Okay, Ida is still with me here.
Yes, we are.
All right, still on this. Let's begin with you, Comrade Nkwaku.
Yes.
Just this weekend, Enugu launched the Operation Clean and Healthy Enugu. Can you let us in a little bit into the idea behind that initiative?
Yes, we got this inspiration from the state government, who had already set the ball rolling by launching Operation Clean and Healthy Anambra. So in my executive committee meeting, we thought of this idea. How do we replicate this thing to the community level as it affects Enugu? So we now decided to launch this program. First of all, before the commencement of the rain, we engaged in clearing all the drainage channels in Enugu. Starting from Omile Junction to Eziokpalanri, Nkwo Aziz, Peg filling station.
Is that the one commissioner picking?
Yeah, the commissioner, that's the proper launch. That's the launch proper. So I was talking about the pre-launch, what we did.
Okay.
So we cleared all these drainages. Not just clearing them, we also got tippers to evacuate all the debris we cleared at a very huge sum to the community. So on Easter Monday, we now launched the Operation Clean Enugu family. The Commissioner for Environment was there. Deputy Governor was ably represented by Dr. Wufo. Officials of UNICEF, officials of Rwasa. Unfortunately, the Aswama did not come in spite of both written and oral invitation. So we want to keep our communities clean. And not just launching the program, but we have also set up a task force to monitor compliance. Because if we leave people, they will still go to do some gutters we cleared and block them. So we have task force in place now. Thank God, the Commissioner for Environment donated some kits to us. The task force members who we wearing this kit so that when you see them, you know that they're on official duty.
I see. Prof, you are also President General of AWA. AWA is in Urumba North.
Yes.
Okay. And do you have any arrangement like that in your own community?
Well, why not? They say that cleanliness is next to godliness. So every community, every home, every state should be involved in such a thing. So we are involved. My own is a very rural community. That notwithstanding, we're doing much to clear the environment, make sure that the mosquitoes are out of the way, and the flies. So we are doing much in terms of cleaning the place.
What's the arrangement like? Is it done at community level, youth level, or is there particular days our people come out to do cleanup, general cleanup?
Well, there's no such thing, but the monthly sanitation is obeyed in my town. But having particular day, in the rural communities, we don't have that kind of pollution as we have in the urban setting. But that notwithstanding, we make sure the roads, the paths, and the streets are clean.
Even the immediate compound.
Exactly. Well, I think I was coming to that.
Okay, Comrade
Yeah.
Wako.
Yes.
Because some people mistake that name. So I say Umpo Ako, but I think it's Umpo Ako. Okay.
There's a lot of that's words.
I call it that way because I'm involved too. Okay, I know that during the Christmas period, we experience a traffic-free Enugu because Enugu is a flashpoint. Yes. Growing up, I know that during festive periods, you know. But we saw a different thing that happened during that Christmas period. And now it is sanitation. Yes. We want to find out what is driving you as the PG of Enugu.
Yeah, the spirit of my people who yearn for this service, you know, is always driving me. I love my town. I love my community so much. As young as 7 years old, whenever there was this long vacation period, my father would just bundle all of us to the village. We'd spend long vacation and come back to the city. I grew up in Onitsha. So I developed this idea of community service as early as when I was in primary school. So no wonder, at the God's appointed time, I was made the President General of the town. I'm a public servant. I work with the registry unit of UNISIC. And I still combine it comfortably with community service. Once it's 4 o'clock, I'm done with office work. I rush to the community and do 1 or 2 things and come back. I stay here in Oka. So the traffic marshal, like you said, Enugu is a flashpoint. We thought of this idea, how do we decongest this? How do we help state government? State government must not do everything. That's why you elected the PG of the community. So we got the officials of ATMA, Anambra Traffic Management Agency, road safety police, to train Enugu traffic marshals. So they were not just there without being trained. They had intensive 3 weeks training. And we saw what happened during the festive period. In poor markets, Ezio Balanre, Ring Road, you pass freely. And want to also sustain it. By December 2019, we inject more people because some of them had, relocated and things like that. Many of them are youth. And they are volunteers. It's just that. Yes.
How you pick them and whether their appointment is official or was just for that period. Even there's sanitation officers. You just use them when you want to clean Enugu, or are they permanently?
The sanitation officers are not permanent because we've launched the operation Clean and Healthy Enugu. We have employed the sanitation officers to help to ensure compliance. We have stipulated penalties for those who dump refuse at unauthorized places. So this is work of these sanitation officials. They are there on a permanent. They're also volunteers, so they're not expecting much from the community. But at the end of the day, just like we did to the traffic marshals, we give them stipends. They are motivated by service, not by the financial reward. That was why when we asked people to come and volunteer for these marshals, 45 people came. And after the training, we picked 30. The coming December now, we also want more people to come and volunteer.
Comrade, before you continue, someone wants to join us. Hello? Hello? All right, go on.
So we train more to, more members of the marshal to join so that the volunteers will have a break, because in the previous ones they didn't have any break. It can manage somebody working from morning till night. So, but this time around we want to make their number 50, so that you deploy them 25,
and they have
from
2
morning
batches
till
like that.
maybe 12 or 1. Then the other 25 will continue with this. The Christmas of 2019 will be better than that of 2018.
Okay.
Still on this issue, generally we're looking at Anambra communities, how to keep it clean. I'll come to you, Prof. Yeah. What do you think is the basic challenge or the kind of that faces communities when it comes to implementing government policies on cleanliness?
It's very obvious. We have a lot of, in my own case, I will call them maybe 4M or 3M: money, machine, material, man, or manpower. Okay. These are the basic things.
That's rough.
when you talk of money, you need money to buy the machines, the money to buy parts, because some of these machines can break down, cannot repair them. You don't have experts, which is a kind of a man that will work on them. So we don't have machines that will even carry the refuse from one point to another. So a lot of factors, but as we go ahead, we'll be able to elaborate.
But it seems in some cases, in some communities, there are some communities you visit, it seems that the problem is more of the will to do that, more than some of these factors you mentioned.
No, the will is incorporated in some of these things. The manpower. Are they well motivated? Are they patriotic?
What are those things that might motivate communities or make them more patriotic?
Well, the issue of motivation has to do with, these days, because of the system we are running in Nigeria, people want money. Even when they want to vote, you know what is happening. You want to be paid before they even vote during elections. And so if they have to clean the environment, they tell you, I will clean my home. But what of the streets? You have to pay them for cleaning the streets. So that is money. And then the commitment, the zeal, the patriotism, these things are no longer there in some of us.
Because
like
I know growing up, yes, when we come back for Christmas holidays, you see women who volunteer themselves to sweep all the
village square,
the village square,
square,
and then the young men
streams.
will go down to the streams and they will walk on the roads.
In my own town, it's still
those
done.
things are not
still
there
see women
again.
every month. They clean the streams, the markets, and what have you.
All right, we'll continue with this discussion. We went to the streets to talk to people on this issue. These are their reactions.
In the olden days, in the communities, people have a means of disposing such waste. And the means of disposing such waste, we have something like compost manure. Then things that are decaying, like vegetable leaves or something of that nature, you put it into the compost manure and use it during the planting season. But things that are like waterproof or things like polythene bags, you gather them together and burn them down. So in the communities, in the local communities, people are trained, even from childhood, to know how to dispose their waste products before they come out as early adults and go out into the cities. So it is I feel, in my own opinion, I feel that the city is the place we have to lay much emphasis.
The only thing if I made a guy this year, I catch and fair. He engage ndị obodo afọ, dị n'obodo afọ, kava solu na diolu. Oburo asụwa ma ịkpọt email mmadụ ọlụ. Onye afọ abụrụ onye obodo were etinye n'ọlụ n'obodo a, na-akwụ ụgwọ n'obodo a. O na-eme ka osisi ya, and o nwere ka o yesi me ndị obodo etinye ihe, mana iwere ndị obodo mmalụ ndị obodo bụ ndị obodo na-ewuzu nyaba ahịa wee tinye iwu ọbụla vati gbasara ka gburugburu wee na-adị ọcha ga-adịgide liva.
So when you talk about communal, like the town where I come from, we have age grace. We have age grace. Maybe once in a month or twice, you see one age grade or the other clearing the gutters, making sure that the floors are actually moving in the right direction, so that people those dirty that closing the gutters will be clean. Some women too, they do their own, using their broom to go to certain village squares and other places to sweep. So I think these are one of the ways the communal towns are being kept clean, not government this time.
Before the modern age, in the communities, we have what we call the task force. In most cases, being supported by masquerades. We move about, checking the compound, know how clean each compound is. As it is today, I still believe that the PGs, President Generals, definitely have to form a committee a committee for cleanliness in their own community. This one, they will not take up the issue of cleanliness in the community. So I believe the community, the PGs, and even the councillors at the present time will be involved, and the local government.
Someone raised the issue of age grades and their role in communities in the Vox Pop, and we want to start from that place and look at the role of age grades, community organizations in ensuring that our communities become better. Prof, it seems age grades now are better known for Ijeberia. You see them coming out in numbers and not rendering community services. How do we re-engineer some of these community organizations to come back to service to the community?
Well, things have gone so bad in our system. In my own town, we have age grades. In fact, we have a generation of age grades in my town. And the last age grade will be responsible for cleaning the streets, the streams, markets, and what have you. The older ones will take care of defense and consultations in terms of safety and security and other issues involving towns. But these days, if you sound your gain or ekwe, can people be easier behind? You find it very reluctant that so many of them don't come out. Because
Are they home? Because this
why not? No matter the number at home, they should come out. But you find out that many of them are now more interested in what they will get for even cleaning their own environment, for even serving their own community. What's the important point is that what we now do in my own town is that we now use the non-natives to now come out and help us. Because if you now say the members of the citizens will say, how much will you pay me? But people from outside...
If you use the non-natives, do you pay them?
We don't pay them, but we entertain them at the end of the day.
But it's supposed to be part of the services they give to the community.
To the community, for being members of the community.
Okay, maybe members of the community. Okay, Comrade Wako. When last we had the Commissioner of Environment, he acted Michael Kumpo, we pointed out some of the grey areas in our environment, areas that make the environment very filthy. And the drainages was one of the things that we pointed out to him. I live in Onitsha. I specifically told him about the experience we have that drainages in front of
police station.
No, it's Zix roundabout.
Okay, Zix roundabout.
Okay, moving over to Boromir Hospital and then beyond. Okay, and then he gave us assurance that the state governor has given him mandate to desilt the drainages. And I know it's one of the problems we have in keeping the environment clean. Do you have the same challenge in your own area?
Yeah, we have the same challenge prior to when we embarked on opening up all the drainages. You see, when the drainages are blocked, the flood water, instead of passing through the drainages, will start passing along the road, thereby, damaging the road. So, I advocate for a regular cleanup of these drainages. In my community, since we have done this, by next year we'll do it again. It won't take us the kind of amount it took us because we did it for the first time. You can imagine on a day, the tipper doing the evacuation will go about 10 to 15 times. So that will tell you the level of sand packed inside these drainages. Now that they're open now, the monitoring committee went around in the midst of the rain, during the last heavy rain, to actually, see how these drainages, work. And from the report they brought to us, we are very, very satisfied. So by next year, we'll do a similar thing. But, that is the synergy we're talking about, the community and state government. We do this thing with our scarce resources. We need government assistance in this regard, no matter how little, so that it can boost the community. We're not saying government come and pay all the entire money we spend, but at least if you get just a little tap on the back.
All of us were happy when we heard that of the Enugu who cleaning their environment. We said this is very good. It was the commissioner mentioned it here, that this is a very good initiative. If all the communities in the state will queue into that, automatically we'll have a very clean environment. And I love what you said about evacuation, because that's one of the problems we also have. It's not just the silting. Then, because the thing will eventually get back to the drainages. Evacuation is one of the problems we have in environment. Okay, people will mount these of garbages and here, nobody to evacuate them. And then even when you try to bring out the things from the drainages, it won't be moved immediately, because if you have to leave it 2-3 days, it will get back to the drainages. Okay, so you want to come in there, Prof.
Well, you have said it all. We need a lot of assistance from the government. Those of us in the rural communities, we don't have roads to even talk about the gradages, to move the water and water. And so the cleanliness does not mean just removing the drainages. What of the mosquitoes? What of the flies? What of the trees that are here and there? The sanitation officers should now come in the homes. You may think about just removing drainages. What of the body? Some of us don't even dress well. Indecent dressing is part of cleanliness or not being clean. The way we think is part of not being clean. So there is even spiritual angle to the issue of being clean. So our hearts and the minds and bodies.
And our body.
Yeah.
Talking about the silting our hearts and minds and bodies, PG mentioned something important about by next year.
Yeah.
So what is Enugu community doing beyond and our also, beyond the periodic silting, to ensure that an average person that is living in Enugu doesn't pick dustbin or dirt and throw into the gutter again?
Okay. We've distributed polythene bags to, all the villages in Enugu, particularly to, marketers at the Nkwo market.
Okay.
Nkwo market constitute, the major part of this exercise. Now, we are assured by Honorable Commissioner of Environment that refuse bins will be provided since we have taken up this initiative. Because last time the Aswama officials came to collect money for sanitation, they had problem with the managers of Nkwo Market because the managers insisted that we will pay for this sanitation, but let us be provided with refuse bins first. They got it hot and they led to the man's being arrested, accusing him of obstructing government work. They were eventually asked to pay this money. Each shop, paid about 4,500 naira. That was last year.
Is it not when they pay us money, we'll see money to buy these things?
Yeah, it has been paid to the official, to
yes,
Aswama, but the bin
so that from
hasn't
the
been
money
provided.
We'll buy the bin.
It hasn't been provided.
No, the bin it will come.
Okay, I pray it will come.
Anambra is a large area.
But in interim, we've dug up, catchment pits here
Okay,
and there.
this is good.
Yes.
Because I was going to ask you that growing up again, I saw some sanitation officers coming to the villages to inspect even your immediate compound. Yeah. I seen and if I'm in those days,
The sanitary now.
everywhere will be so clean, So, do you foresee that coming again with this establishment of sanitation officers?
Yes, that's the work of this monitoring committee.
Yes.
Because our people, sometimes they require a little bit of pressure, a little bit of force. Don't do this. You go and do it. So that's the work of this, monitoring official, to make sure that people don't do it. And if you do it, you'll be arrested. You'll be brought to the community service center. You'll be disciplined.
Okay, thank you, Comrade Bonnie Mpwako, President General Enugu Development Union, for joining us on Good Morning Anambra today.
Thank you so
Prof,
much.
before we go, your final advice.
My final advice is that our people should think about the environment themselves, from their homes to the communities to the state. The state should also come in by providing the necessary equipment, the necessary facilities, and the manpower. The issue of sanitary agents should also come back, because by their impact and influence, the communities will be urged and pushed to do the cleanliness.
All right, thank you, Professor Obiajulo Obike, the President General, our Development Union, and also Professor at Chukwemeko Odumegwu Ojukwu University, Ibariam. And that is how far we'll go on the discussions and our themes for today on Good Morning Anambra. Thank you for joining us. I am David Okwasile.
My name is Sijama Uche. Do have a good weekend.